This is the Daily Fantasy Show brought to you by DFO. It is Thursday, November 30th. I am Josh. We have a 7-game slate tonight. Sorry I didn't get on the air yesterday. I had some personal things that... Yeah, come say hi.
Hi.
Avery says hi. Sorry I didn't get on yesterday. I had some personal stuff and I hit traffic on the way home. But here I am now. I like this slate, 7 games, nice little size, some good spots, so we might as well hop to it, right? Right. So, first game of the night, we have the LA Kings traveling to Washington to face the Capitals. It's going to be Braden Holtby against Jonathan Quick. Where should we start? Let's start with the Kings. Yeah, I wasn't. I'll probably just make something up because that's what I do. Fake it till you make it. No, I will do the best I can. Let's talk about the Kings first. I put an article into edit right before I came on. It is daily GPP or GPP targets that I like today. I tried not to list super chalky ones. Forsberg did happen to get on there, but a couple people I did write up were Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty. I think this is a decent spot for the Kings top line. I think you'll get good ownership on them. It is Dustin Brown. It is I follow with them. Something that I did mention that I wanted to do was use Kopitar with Doughty as a mini, or even use Kopitar, Doughty, Muzzin. Yeah, mini. I think that's a way to get the Kings in this game at lower ownership. Right. With Matty Niskanen back for the Capitals, it does upgrade their blue line. They have corrected some of their defensive issues. They still have a lot of work to do, but they have been playing better as of late. Holtby has been very good, but I still like the Kings top line as a nice little contrarian pivot from the chalk today, especially Kopitar and Doughty. If you can't fit Doughty, I like Muzzin at 4,700. Alec Martinez is really cheap at 4,000. I think he gets involved too. He scored the goal that broke my heart against the Rangers in the Stanley Cup. I'll never forget it. But yay. On the other side, again, I'm not huge on Washington offensively. Their lines are a little bit messed up. I do like Ovechkin. The problem is they're going to get the Kopitar line tonight, even though he is with Backstrom. Washington's not too high on my list tonight. I don't really like the second line. You can make a case. Yeah, so did I. I had a good night. The Zibanejad news came out really late. The second line who are going to avoid Kopitar is Kuznetsov, Vrana, and Oshie. I don't mind that. Again, I don't know if you have to go there tonight. I think there's some other depth lines that I prefer. But if you are on Washington, Kopitar is going to get Ovechkin for sure. The game's in Washington, so I don't know for sure. But they're probably going to try to get him out there as much as possible. That's all right. It literally came out like 5 minutes before lock. Even if you got it out, everyone was still scrambling. And it ended up benefiting a lot of people who missed it because there really weren't many good pivots. I got lucky on one of my lineups. I ended up pivoting Zibanejad and Heed before the Heed news broke out to Couture and Vlasic, and that ended up working in my favor. But really, there wasn't many solid pivots from a 7,100 player unless you completely changed your lineup. So yeah, moderately low interest in the Capitals. I do like both goalies in this game. I think this does have the possibility of being a lower scoring game and Holt being quick. I think both are viable in GPPs. It is a more matter of preference, depending if you're using kings or using capitals. I think, even if you're not using either, I think you could potentially use them as your goalie in a GPP. I probably would avoid them in cash because, these teams can score just like any team in the NHL, but GPP for the goalies for sure. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Montreal Canadiens traveling to Detroit to face the Red Wings. Drouin is out tonight. Jimmy Howard's confirmed for the Red Wings. It's probable that it's going to be Anthony Niemi. I have a hard time imagining that Carey Price is going to start tonight. They're probably just going to wait as long as possible for a little sportsmanship from Claude Julien. But yeah, one of my favorite lines tonight is the second line of Detroit. It is, I'm sure Barack will let me know if I make a mistake here because this is his team. Second line is Dylan Larkin, Tomas Tatar, and Anthony Mantha. I really like this line tonight. Again, don't mind Tatar. Wish it was someone else like Marty Firk or Anthony Ciu. And that's what's up in the air with the top line. I think Anthony Ciu is in the top line tonight. I think Marty Firk is going to be back next game. Could still be David Booth. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Brock has some insight. He can, let me know. But I definitely should have checked. But still, I do like my preferred line is the second line. They're one of my favorite plays tonight. Yeah, he played the back half of Adam says that Anthony Ciu played the back half of last game on Detroit 1. And Brock says it's probably going to be Nyquist, Zetterberg, Anthony Ciu. But again, Blashill is probably the worst DFS coach for the Lions. That being said, Detroit 2 is still one of my favorite. If it is Zetterberg... What? Oh, you want your iPad? Okay, here. If it is Zetterberg, Nyquist, Anthony Ciu, that is a definite bump from David Booth, and I think Detroit 1 is definitely in play. You're going to have to check Adam's line matching article to see who matches up with who. I don't know that after Zetterberg, Detroit will hard match, but make sure to sign up and read his article. Then you get all the good info there. On the blue line, Mike, I'm not a huge fan of Detroit blue liners. I mean, you can use Mike Green at 4,200. Nicholas Kronwall led the team last game in power play time. I don't know why, but if that's the case, I think he's a decent punt at 3,100 if you're really into using AARP members in your lineup. But I still think I prefer Mike Green. On the Montreal side, Jonathan Drouin is out, lower body injury. So I think, for me, it really depends who moves up into his spot before I recommend a secondary line. But I do like the top line tonight. Philip Deneau, Max Pacioretty, and Andrew Shaw. I think... I hate using regression as a word, but there is positive regression coming for Pacioretty. He's been shooting the puck in a crazy amount. His shooting percentage is so low. He is overdue for positive regression. This could be the spot. Detroit is bad on the blue line. Jimmy Howard's decent, but he's ancient as well. He has really bad games once in a while. So I think this is a really good spot for the top line of Montreal. On the blue line, Shea Weber is probably still out. I think he is confirmed out tonight. Jeff Petrie, 4,100 is getting up there in price with Weber out, but I still think you can pay that for sure. David Schlemko, he is back for injury, but this is a back-to-back. his minutes may be monitored tonight. If I was a coach, I don't know if I saw that, if I saw anything about it, but at 3,000, I think he's worth a punt, and same with Joe Morrow. In net, with Juron being out, I think Jimmy Howard is a decent GPP play. Jimmy Howard, stop. I think Jimmy Howard is a decent GPP play. On the Montreal side, if it is Price on a back-to-back, which I highly doubt they're going to be doing right now, I think so. But from an ownership perspective, I think you're going to get the Kings a little bit lower owned. I believe. Maybe I'm off base on that. But I do like the Kings a little bit better. Again, if it's Carey Price on a back-to-back, I'm going to have a hard time paying $7,800 for him in GPPs or cash. I just think, he has been playing really well since coming back from injury. I don't know if he's ready to go back-to-back. That's why you have Anthony Niemi. Niemi, on the other hand, I don't want to pay $7,600 for. Again, he kind of got hung out to dry a little bit in Pittsburgh. I think, he was admittedly terrible. He isn't as bad as those numbers stated as you saw in his first start with Montreal. I think he was decent. I wouldn't expect great things out of him, but I don't think Detroit's going to light him up like 8-0 like Tampa Bay did. I think Niemi started back-to-backs 3 times against Tampa Bay when he was with Pittsburgh, and that definitely led to some really awful numbers. But again, I don't think Niemi's anything great at this point in his career, so I'm probably going to fade him in all formats. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Vancouver Canucks traveling to Nashville to face the Preds. It's going to be Pekka Rinne against Anders Nielsen. Obviously I love Nashville's top line tonight. I think they're going to be chalky. I think them and Calgary 1 are definitely going to be the chalk tonight. I don't know if he should. You got to look at it from a hockey standpoint and then a business point. From a hockey standpoint, yeah, sure, you should start Price. He's been playing really good. But from a business standpoint, he just signed that massive extension. He's coming back from injury, so you're gonna want to preserve him for the next 8 years. So the fact that they haven't announced the starter at this point in the day makes me think that it's going to be Niemi. But we will see. It may certainly be Price. So getting back to Nashville and Vancouver, I think Nashville and Calgary are going to be the chalk tonight. I think this is still a really good spot for Nashville. Even though they are getting a little bit pricey, there's a bunch of secondary lines that I like tonight. Detroit 2 that I just mentioned. I think Minnesota's third line is viable as well. Edmonton's third line, but we'll get to those. I do like the top line in Nashville tonight. I think they're in play for sure. You're going to be eating some ownership there, but that's okay. You can differentiate elsewhere. Johansson, Forsberg, Arvidsson. The power play correlation D-man would be Subban at 5,300, which is a decent price. Roman Jossi's on the second power play correlates more on the power play with Nashville 2, but he correlates better at evens with Nashville 1. He is 6,800. Depends how you build. I have no issue with either. Matthias Ekholm at 4,900 is really pricey. I'd rather spend the extra 400 for PK Subban. And in net, Pekka Rinne, 8,100. Again, I paid up for Martin Jones last night. That was the first time I paid over 8,000 for a goalie all season. And look what happened. I'm not saying that's going to happen tonight with Rinne, but I'm probably not going to use him in GPPs just because of what could happen, like what happened with Martin Jones. He is one of my top goalies tonight in the notebook. Oh, Price is confirmed. Interesting. So Price just got confirmed for Montreal. I'm not sure how I feel. Not sure how that makes me feel about Detroit. Let that news go around in my brain for a little bit, and I'll come back to that game. So I'm probably going to fade Rene in GPPs. I think you can use them in cash. This is a decent spot. On the flip side, I don't have too much interest in Vancouver tonight outside of the top line, and I don't even think, the top line's in a great spot. Even, Besser, Barchi, Horvat, even though they have been, you're okay? Even though they've been playing very well together, I think I would, I don't know where he's playing. He is in, though, tonight, right? Yeah, in Nashville. I'm okay. He's in and he's 2,700. I would have Nikolai. Where is Nikolai gonna be? Let me see. Let me take my best guess here. Yeah. I doubt he's going to be with the Sedins. I would assume Burmistrov and Gagne. Oh, yeah. Brock just said with Burmistrov and Gagne. That kind of sucks. But he is 2,700. So Burmistrov is the Buddha play, but I don't mind him at 2,700. That's cheaper. He's more viable than some really deep D punts, I think. But let me talk about Nashville. I prefer Nashville 2 to Vancouver 1 tonight. Buddha the all-powerful, yeah. Well, he's now on FanDuel taking screenshots at 7:37 going, that's right, when, Sean Matthias has a goal and a hit or something. Who knows? But I do like the second line Nashville more than I like Vancouver's top line. Turris, Craig Smith, Fiala. I think that's a good spot. All right. Actual pictures of his computer. He. Yeah. He. That's how I imagine him saying it. That's right. He. Yeah, it's like Avery. You're a goon. But so I prefer Nashville 2 to Vancouver 1. That kind of makes sense. Nashville 2 matchup with the Sedins. I think that knocks down them a little bit. I mean, the Sedins are old. Fiala is way faster than anybody on that line. But most popular line tonight, I think, is going to be Nashville 1 or Calgary 1. I still like Nashville 2 better than Vancouver 1. This is a tough matchup for them. Obviously, they can score. Yeah, they are strong at shot suppression, but I don't think, if Fiala gets out in open ice, I don't think they're suppressing anything. I think they're chasing him. But yeah, not too high in either Nashville 2 or Vancouver 1. Slight lean to Nashville 2. You want to use Nielsen in the GPP? Okay. Definitely not one of my preferred plays, but 7,100 salary relief. He has had some good games on the road. It's purely a GPP punt play. I'll get to that. I think Calgary 2 is a little bit better play than Nashville 2. They have really good numbers, but they haven't been producing. Something's got to give. What do you want? Chocolate? Okay. Here you go. So yeah, so let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Vegas Golden Knights traveling to Minnesota to face the Wild. It's going to be Devin Dubnyk against, more than likely, Malcolm Subban. Vegas mixed up their lines a little bit. I think Neal flip-flopped with somebody. Or did Holla flip-flop with somebody? Somebody flip-flopped with somebody. I think it's a little... it's a little overreaction. Oh yeah, Alex Tuck. It's Tuck. There we go. With Neal and challah bread. If you've never had challah bread French toast, I think you have yet to live on this planet. But anyway, getting back to the game. As crazy as it sounds, I really like the third line for Minnesota tonight as my favorite line in Minnesota. Obviously, Chris Stewart's on the line if you want to leave him off. Yes, stay for breakfast tips, cooking tips. I'm here all week. Yes, you're watching Peppa Pig. The third line is Charlie Coyle, Jason Zucker, Chris Stewart. If you want to leave Chris Stewart off, okay. But he is only 3,000. Let you get in anything you want. What's his face? Spurgeon is out, I believe. If you can fit in Suter with the Wild, do it. Otherwise, you can use Matty Dumba. I still don't know how to pronounce it. He's just dumb. But he should see a special teams increase. He already is playing over 20 minutes a night. Yeah, Sagan's back on the top line for Dallas. We'll get there soon. When will then be now? Soon. Yeah, soon. We ain't found shit. Yeah. Good stuff, Avery. I do like the first and the second lines tonight, too, as well, for Minnesota. I think this is a Josh Stack possibility. And you can use, like, three lines. Stahl, Niederreiter with Koivu, and Granlund with Coyle and Zucker. You can get three lines across two power plays in a Josh Stack. I think all three lines are viable for Minnesota tonight. My personal favorite is the third line for salary relief purposes. Yes, Stahl, Nino, Zucker, Coyle, get some. I will be getting some. I may have just talked myself into Josh stacking tonight. I think this is a good game for Dubnyk. Vegas does struggle more on the road. I think the coach, whose name escapes me for Vegas, yeah, the coach, yeah, Dave Talon, is that it? I go with Dave, yeah, Gallant, whatever his name is. I don't even care. He should still be on the Flyers. Gerard, that's it, yeah. I'd rather go Tuck Betty than Tuck Maria, but if you can get all three, you probably are going to pay extra. This is a revenge narrative for Alex Tuck. I don't mind that second line. Challah bread, have some French toast. Tuck and Neal. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Holla, too. That's revenge for... Maybe that's why they switched the lines. A little Holla Tuck revenge narrative in Minnesota. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not huge on Vegas tonight. I don't mind, you can use Carlson, Smith, and Marchessault again. Yeah, Shea Theodore's up to 4,000, so I don't know how much value you're going to get out of him at that price. But, yeah, he's on the power play. There's some guys who are cheaper, like Dumba and Cronwall, who are cheaper, who get power play time that are, probably... for 3.5K on FanDuel, yeah. Definitely Shea Theodore, but yeah. I'm not too high on Vegas tonight. After getting shot at home, maybe they lose a little bit of momentum on the road. I think this is a Dubnyk game. No interest in Subban. I'm very high on the Wild tonight. So let's move on to the next game. We have the Dallas Stars traveling to Chicago to face the Blackhawks. Big news out of this game. The top line has been reunited. It is Sagan, Ben, and Radulov. Yay. 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 Anyone have Radek Faksa? Or what's his name? I wrote him up the other day. Hat trick, natural hat, Faksa. Wait. Avery. Fasca, there it is. What? Yeah, we're almost done. Faxa. Yo, listen, I'm never going to get better at pronunciation. English isn't my strong suit. Picking players is. Sometimes. But yeah, the top line is reunited for Dallas, and I love it. They are the most expensive on the board. But again, I've mentioned a whole bunch of secondary lines that you can use to fit them in. Chicago is kind of weak sauce defensively. I think Corey Crawford's overrated. He's also 8,000 tonight. I don't know if he's going to be chalky because every time I think he's not going to be chalky, he ends up being chalky. They are going to get the Tays line, but does that really scare me at this point? Not really. I really like the Dallas top line. If you can fit them in with Klingberg, I think that's a very expensive contrarian stack, maybe. I think they're going to be lower owned than they should. You can't, Essa Lindell, can fit him in for sure at 3,700. Other players from this game on the Dallas side, I don't mind Janmark. I don't mind Spezza, who's only 3,800. They're both 3,800, but again, without any of those big boys with them on the line, it's kind of meh. But for the price, I don't mind using Spezza or Janmark as a one-off. Again, if it's in the utility on DraftKings, I think under 4,000, nice Avery, under 4,000, I think you can make a case for using a D-man utility over a Spezza or Janmark, but I don't mind that play as a one-off. On the Chicago side, Patrick Kane line, definitely. This is a good spot for them. I guess they're back to being chalk donkeys. I don't know how chalky they're going to be, but Anisimov, Schmaltz, and Kane. I really like this line tonight. Again, I'm not a huge Blackhawks guy, even though the Josh Stack name originated from a Blackhawks six-man stack. I think there is going to be some ownership on the Hawks tonight on both of the top lines. Tays, Saad isn't. I like them as a mini. I like Gustav Forsling on the blue line. Duncan Keith, if you can get him in at 4,800, that's cool. I really like Gustav Forsling at 3,200. Cody Franson, 3,300. Jan Ruda, also 3,200 in play. If you want to, spend up to 3,700 for Brent Seabrook, you can. Sorry, Freudian slip. But for Chicago, preferred play would be the second line, and then it would be Tays, Saad, and that line. If you want to use DeBrincat on the third line with Sharp, I think that's a decent third line tonight. I don't know if you need to go there. They're like a little under 11,000 a full stack. They actually probably would help you fit in Dallas. I think the third line is a decent value tonight. I don't know if you need to get that much value in your lineup with pricing tonight, but if you do, I don't mind Chicago 3 as that spot. In net, Ben Bishop is coming off a shutout of the Golden Knights. He is only 7,400. I think he's viable in GPPs. He's definitely going to see some shot volume. I think you can I think this is also a winnable game for Dallas. The problem I think this could be a high-scoring game. I don't know how high-scoring. My gut says like a 4-3 type of affair. Make a little ball. Okay. So yeah, Ben Bishop is a nice punt option for GPPs. Corey Crawford at 8,000. Not a huge fan of the price. Not a huge fan of the matchup with the top line getting back together, but it does limit Dallas's depth a bit. So, if you're using Chicago, I think you can use Crawford in GPP. I'm always wrong on Crawford's ownership, so I won't say anything on that. But if he is going to be chalky, I'll have less interest. That's, I don't know really how to find out. Maybe make a poll or something. But again, I'm not going to be spending for him in a GPP. But if you are on Chicago, I don't mind that play at all. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Arizona Coyotes traveling to Calgary to face the Flames. It's going to be Mike Smith against Scott Wedgwood. I think Calgary 1 is going to be the chalk tonight, and for good reason. Calgary 1 is always a good play at home. Now they're getting the Coyotes and Scott Wedgwood. Clutch, Avery. I think Yager's out tonight, but that's a third-line play anyway. It's going to be Sean Monahan, Johnny Gaudreau, Michael Ferland. Think they're in play for sure. I don't know. You have to look at AD's article to see who they're going to get tonight. I don't know if they hard match. Oh, Yager's in. Someone said Yager's out. I don't think it matters from a DFS perspective tonight for me. On the blue line for Calgary, definitely prefer Dougie Hamilton to Mike Giordano, but Dougie Hamilton is more expensive. Giordano does block a bunch of shots and does have offensive upside at 5,000. I just think Dougie Hamilton is the better option. His advanced numbers have been insane over the past month. His production hasn't matched it, but there's going to be a crossing of those paths pretty soon, and this might be the game. The second line of Calgary is in play again. Again, they have really good fancy numbers, but they haven't been producing. Maybe tonight's the night. Maybe it's not. But I think, if you've been on them, I don't think there's any reason to get off them here. They're cheap. They let you get in what you want. This is a good matchup for them. So hooray, 3M. Making a big ball with Play-Doh here. On the Arizona side, again, I don't have too much interest as a whole. Like using a whole line. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson's definitely in play. I don't like how their lines are set up. I don't mind the top line of Derek Stepan, Brandon Perlini, and Tobias Reeder, but who knows if they're going to be that by game time. I don't mind a Perlini OEL mini, a Clayton Keller mini with OEL. I think, if you're going to have some Arizona exposure, it should include Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and then you can kind of pick who you want to use there with them. What? Little ball? Okay. In net, Wedgwood at 6,800. What is this? Yeah, that's a Sour Patch Kid. Yeah. Wedgwood at 6,900. Nice. I don't even know if you want to call this a leverage spot. I don't think that's how it really works. If you want to fade Calgary for the ownership, okay, but I wouldn't fade him and use Wedgwood. I'll get to, as soon as I finish the last game, I'll go through my top plays. So I have no interest in Wedgwood. I think Mike Smith is a cash game play. Like a what? I don't know what you're saying. Okay. Mike Smith, 8,300, I think is a cash game play. Again, I have issue using him in a GPP just because I think, Arizona isn't as bad as their record. I don't like their lines. So I'm not going to use their lines in the GPP, but I do think they can score. As you saw last night, Jake Allen got lit up. Mike Smith's the same price. Yeah, I don't know what he's saying, but a cocoa.
No, a cow.
There you go, snowman.
No.
Oh, a circle.
Yeah.
Circle. There we go.
It's a snowman.
A snowman.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. There's your snowman. Anyway, Mike Smith, cash game for me. I'm going to fade in GPPs due to the price.
Make a circle soon.
So let's go to the last game tonight. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Make a ball. A snowman.
Okay. The Toronto Maple Leafs traveling to Edmonton to face the Oilers. The Toronto Lions are a huge mess. Austin Matthews didn't skate this morning, but he's probably going to play. I'm not even going to take a guess at what they are. The thing is, this is a late game. It's a 9 o'clock start. So if you do want to use Toronto because of their jumbled lines and you get some confirmation, I think you're going to get them a little bit lower owned than they should be. Just because of that, it is Brossoit for Edmonton, so this is a good spot for the Toronto offense. I'm not even going to try to mess around with the lines, but yeah,
Make a circle.
Matthews is banged up, but he's playing. Who knows what it is going to be after that? But yeah,
Let's try.
I don't like Edmonton's lines again tonight. McDavid's always in play for me. I like the third line, but again, I don't like fading McDavid when using Edmonton. That does put Freddie Anderson in play for me in GPPs at 7,500. I think he's been playing really well lately. I think that's a decent option. On the blue line, Clefbaum's 5,200. I think you can go there. Or you can go to Darnell Nurse at 3,900.
Do this.
On the Toronto side, if you can fit... Yes, especially if they're together. They're probably going to be together, or according to this morning, they're going to be together. I think Kadri and JVR is a good mini stack. Just make sure they're together. That's all I'm going to say. I don't mind. I like Toronto tonight. I just wish I knew their lines.
Daddy.
This is a circle.
Don't make it.
If you can fit Riley in at 5,100, I go there.
Daddy.
A Coco?
No.
Coco the dog?
Yeah.
I don't know how to make Coco the dog with Play-Doh. But Mike Riley, 5,100. If you want to use Jake Gardner at 3,600, you can. I think Zaitsev might be out of his offense. It's up a little bit at 3,800. So that covers the 7 games. Throw salary to the wind. I'm taking Matthews and Marner. I think Kadri and JVR probably is the better play from a salary perspective. So that's the 7 games.
Just like this.
Just like this? Okay. Yeah, Toronto's always the worst to choose players from because they have so many good players. But so that's the 7 games. I think my top plays. Let's throw ownership out the window for a second. I think Calgary won, Dallas won, Nashville won, Minnesota. Now it's interesting that Price is playing. I'm not sure how that changes Detroit for me. I still think I like Detroit tonight. I think it might scare people off now that Price is starting. I'm gonna need a minute. I still need a minute to think about that. I'm gonna have to go back and look more at it because I was expecting the Emmy to start. I like Minnesota a little bit more over Minnesota too. I still think Minnesota third line is my favorite as a whole, as a unit tonight. Top goalie plays for me. You can see in the notebook. I like Rene. I like Dubnyk. I like Freddie Anderson. So, any questions, concerns, food advice? Life advice? Kid advice? Fire away. Top GPP defenseman? depends on who you're building with. I mean, I think Klingberg's in a good spot, 5,700. Drew Doughty is in a good spot at 5,600. PK Subban, Dougie Hamilton. I think Dougie Hamilton is probably my favorite. What do I tell my ex-wife next time she tells me she misses me? You shouldn't have left. But yeah, top defenseman would be probably Dougie Hamilton. You can't have it both ways. You can't leave and then say you miss Adam, because that's fucked up. Am I right, Avery? Yeah, Avery. Right. Bitches don't know. No, I love Philip Forsberg tonight. I don't know who started that Tuesday narrative, but he's in play almost any slate at home. You're getting down? I'm helping you. Okay. What else? Whew. I still think, okay, now that I've kind of thought about it a little bit, I still like Detroit tonight, even though it is Carey Price. I just hope people come off of him, come off of Detroit because it is Price. I'm not boycotting it because I'm a one lineup guy. Yeah, Quick is okay for GPPs. I'm not boycotting it because... Yes, that is a good stack. I'm not boycotting it because of the horrible payout structure and because I'm a one lineup guy, but if I was MMEing, I'd be pissed about that payoff structure. What are you doing, Avery? Oh, there it is. I don't know why they're doing that. They can easily have having a 10K top prize is fine, but make the contest bigger and put like 7K to second, 4K to third, something like that. I don't know. Instead of it being 40,000 guaranteed and having it, or 50,000 guaranteed, having 10K to first, make it 75, 80K guaranteed. It will fill. I will promise you that it will fill. If I have to run a 150-man team train to fill it, I will do it. But I'm telling you it would fill. Don't get me started on that. Cancel. Avery's starting to get a little crazy, so maybe we got to wrap it up. But you're not? No? No? Okay. Yeah, the sniper's been 13K for the past week or so. That could be easily 25,000 it would fill. So 2 years ago, the sniper used to be up around 50,000, but they didn't have the 8. DK really needs to figure out what they want to do. I think, you want to have the 8, that's fine, but I think, because it's 150 max, so grow the sniper a little bit and have, I know they have a $20 3 max, but they should make it bigger. I think that's a nice compliment to the 33, which is an MME GPP. I think if you made a decent sized $20 3 max, that would fill for sure, because there are a lot of one lineup 3 max players like myself. The 150 max is nice. The $50, it's like a 2 max is fine. But I think, DraftKings is really missing a big opportunity to target medium bankroll players. I think you have, what are you going to do? Would you rather, I think you have the 8 and you have the line change, the $33 line change for the MME players, and you can have the sniper and the $20 3 max for single entry players. Good punt D-men in GPPs. Dumba, Cronwall. I don't know if Nurse is a punt, but he's under 4,000. Gustav Forsling. Nice, Avery. Benning. Where's Brodeen? How much is Brodeen? Brodeen's 3,000. I'd rather go Joe Morrow or Schlemko than Brodeen, but I think Brodeen is in play. Okay, we'll change your diaper in a minute. Yeah, I don't mind Brodeen with, Franzen's in there as well. I don't mind Brodeen with Spurgeon out. Yeah. Okay, you ready to go upstairs? Okay. So good luck, everybody. That wraps up today's Daily Fantasy Show. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be in premium chat the rest of the night. If you also want to reach me on Twitter, you can. JRH002DFS. Make sure you check out our premium stuff. AD's line matching article, the optimizers, the projections. It's all great stuff. The chat is a really nice tool. There's a bunch of us in there, tilting the slate, going over plays before the slate. I think it's a really valuable tool. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Good luck. Win some money. Fade Maria.